Baako, amen. Ako, amen. Yeah, walk, ben, come.
Welcome to
Roots Organics on ICO.
No, it's not time for Roots Organics. It's time for Arts and Culture. And when it's time for Arts and Culture, you know what to expect. It's time to expect the man Bismarck appear Cinergy for today's edition of Arts and Culture. Cinergy.
Yes, sir. Everything cool.
Take it away. Everything nice.
All right.
Everything cook and curry.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You room ten so and art and culture admire. And I really love the conversation. The baby start here the about drove. Because I was following this whole let's say this show today. From the beginning of you talking about doing an intensive review of the SONA 2026, that is the State of Nation Address 2026. Now, it's now time for us to look at what the president said with regards to creative arts pertaining to art and culture. What the creative arts and also are benefiting or they intend to benefit from this State of the Nation Address as it stands now. Now, we are not only going to broaden the conversation mainly on what the art itself will give us, but in a two direct way. One would be on the money, that is the financial aspect that he made mention of, and the other side is how the distribution will be as to the eligible people that will be eligible to have that funds to support this creative industry, and as to how the whole thing has to be dispersed to the main purpose of the reason why the money yeah they earn. But let's take this into introspective analysis and make this point very direct that many people feel to say when it comes to the SONA, that is the State of the Nation Address, it's just a matter of president to be a banner or by addressing the nation, just like that the way he feels. But for educational purposes, it is part of Ghana's constitution, which is specified under Article 67. That states say a president shall, and meaning it is not on any way I would if I can be feel say, oh, I feel like addressing the nation to have to do with this way or that way. It is part of our constitution as part of the Article 67 I specify. Say the beginning of every parliamentary session, any the dissolution of every parliamentary sitting. That is when this whole thing is done under the Article 113. And no is part of the dissolution of parliament. And the beginning is Article 67. So, and no NMI, you who what the president did on 27th February. That was, let's say, on Friday. Now, you who this atmosphere of people talking about it. Now, the creative arts, yeah, boy, now bono bodi in the crown, a dear seminar walk and what the president, that is John Dramani Mahama, announced a total financial commitment of 40 million. And this amount is aimed at revitalizing the creative arts and the movie industry, of which what you to say 20 million will go into the film industry. That is a seed money for the film fund to support Kumawood the Hollywood, and the other wood, as he said. And the other 20 million would directly go into the creative arts. And also we have the music, we have the fashion, we have the literature, and any other aspect of creative art. Most people don't even know when it comes to the creative arts industry now. We associate it with only music, food, tourism. Your friends say no, no. But we have a broader or a wide scope when it comes to this creative industry. No? So the 40 million, as the president said, 20 million for the film industry. That is the Kumawood, the Gollywood, as we know, say, no, any the gallant production houses or the production media, Ghana has say, any the creative aspect, and also including everyone, both the musicians and wherever they are, which is very important. Now, before say, President says something, the idea, the intention, the intent, and what he as the president sees regarding this creative arts industry, any the reason why here one when he said it is very important to push this money, to inject this money to support the creative arts industry. But one aspect of this conversation is very important to me. What Honorable Richard Oforiagima Bodi, the current Kumasi mayor, shared about creative arts, especially the former administration, the creative arts school, Omushi, and the Abwa, the creative arts. What he said, near back to President so any this 40 million financial support to the creative arts industry. So if Green Room can get me or Newsroom can get me the video of Kumasi Mayor Ken Zuba, what he said about the creative arts school.
De menya keva nye bebufu
sawo
and na creative art school na e creative art SHS
and creative art SHS send the STEM you know
yeah program
I send you to creatives no send the STEM engineering
obi agusia creatives
and just system no omusia engineering kwa send the STEM school
that you bo me ni mmiri okroma
mayor
yes obi obeka to say creative art school any Ghana have no nim Ghana.
Oh, you need creative art basic school, secondary school, Ghana, I be there.
What the whole word, I'm for no creative art secondary school. Tell me country back.
Oh, you need this how, baby.
And I'm say country bang. I know creative art secondary school. Creative art, 1 year ocean, 10 less than 10%. The people within the creative industry. A talent in nature.
Of course.
Interesting.
Russ, let's come back.
Interesting.
Can you get me, Russ?
Yeah.
Now, one, Maminyana always ni address this and you move on to President Diano. Now, sometimes Yana, I get worried about how people are. They tend to become the voice for the voiceless. We end up near to Putragunkrofweni without doing proper research. But our position, is said to deceive people in a sense. Say, based on your position, it is easy for people to get away with it without doing further inquiries to see, say, assembly leader especially when that person is a politician. Now, I don't blame Zuba because what the young fan say only interest in work but as a journalist, wo fresh any pakrono, who seeking a consent or the idea or whatever opinion about the topic in our discussing. What research did you do? And he said there is no creative arts school anywhere. And the presenter said yes, which is total lies. We have School of the Art or Singapore. They do mainly literal works and film industry, we training people on that. Young quite the crowd.
At the secondary school level.
Yes. When you go to Johannesburg, South Africa, we have the National School of the Arts. They do this whole thing. Oko UK, your break school. People listening to me right now can do their research. Michigan, you will be Honham. UK, you will be But the conversation, I do understand from the point now with the free banning because already he's part of the people. I have the notion, say the creative arts people, no, the people in the creative arts industry, the people, I say they are not world respected. We don't regard them that much. In this will because or you into creative art. Yeah, money look at say those that they are not really needed when it comes to national discourse. It then I was a bomb. That is how I understand it from one point. And then I was a bomb. And then I was a higher who say the seed money be clear toward the amount and they said they see a specialized school and among those people. No. We do understand when you go to the senior high school level, creative art as visual arts at the senior high school level. Yes, sir. But to have a creative art school mainly for creative art and again NEBA, and noted that the then administration ACB or Kwadaso. The current government, that is the John Dramani Mahama, episode or Twaso, which is a beautiful idea. I believe in continuation of governance, Obiba Beyebi Twaso, so that the resources will not go waste. One is every region there you want to Ghana before I say they appointee will be into that region, you know. At the end, about that to first look at the interest of those people, no. As you said, that person, you know, the interest of the people na do or you didn't leader, no. Does that person really understand those people leader? No. That is where know the Ashanti region to be one of the regions. We know the Ashanti region to be one of the regions. They are into film, creatives, our Ashanti region. And to appoint someone to become the regional minister of the Ashanti region, meaning Tiny Pakon was what say Ashanti region. I say, two, to appoint someone to become Kumasi. I say, despite the expertise in any specialization, send a beer to me. Sorry, some call people said this starting of Hello, Ross.
Yeah, Cinergy.
COVID distracting with our me. That is how I see it from my perspective. Say, before we get every leader in every aspect or sector in Ghana, no, we should have or what that sector no at heart.
Before you conclude on Zuba,
there, but not having a personal interest.
Before you conclude
So
on Zuba and the regional minister and all of
that.
Regional,
who say these people no me creative people. Inti yadi mi akwa to omo anu yi. Ade bi wo ho nam na say your main priority. Send a messia bo omo de afa. You are in Ashanti region and you are making this conversation to look as if say it is not important for us to do that for the Ashanti region. Enough of that.
Before idea number 2 honor, let's examine this in a little more. Cinergy.
Okay.
It may be the case that other countries have secondary school level arts schools. That may be the case. However, what I think the best practice should be, and that's the case in some places, and that was the case in Ghana some time ago, is that you incorporate the programs into the regular schools. When we were in school, we used to study music as a subject. We hated it. Me, I'm a musician, but nothing that I learned about what I am doing now about music did I learn from school. If you understand what I'm saying. Music now you or secondary school. It has nothing to do with the music that I'm performing now. Let's put that on the side. What I'm saying is this. Back in the day, these programs were incorporated into the regular curriculum. Oba Broche has say, right? Texas, as an example, New York as an example, especially Texas, they don't play with the arts. Nana, every school that you go to has a solid arts programmer. The kids struggle to get into. I said, if you make that grade now, why are there? Wow, he got into this. Oh, how? Wow, he got into band. Everybody's happy for you. My son got into the choir. he got into the band as well. Osua how to play saxophone. Your man voice training, all of that. Ube school, no. You're already a pro in that level. Do we need a secondary school for that? Cinergy, I don't know if you're frozen or if I still have you. You look frozen to me. Try and re-enter. I'll take you back to the green room, and then when you refresh, I will bring you back. I think you are refreshed now, Abi. There you are.
Yeah,
okay,
yeah,
good.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is, do we really need a secondary school for that? Because if Mamin Charadie, America, and they're the biggest producer and consumer of showbiz, true or false?
True.
No question about that. Yet, does America set schools to train people at that level, even though they have the consumption for it? America movies chain right? Or producing movies chain. Do they have secondary school level? It's not necessary. Zuba is right. It's completely misplaced. Put the programs in every secondary school. Because after all, about creative arts industry now, fact of the matter is that me, I went to School of Performing Arts. I have a master's degree, right? But running creative industry, our Ghana. How many of them have been to even School of Performing Arts now? Let's be very realistic about this thing. Ghana has set up school for creative arts. And no. Ujai regular school now work on and the work was school now again. As a young person that will do secondary school going age, Ujai SSS now work was school no and again. It makes no sense. I am sorry to disappoint you, Cinergy, but I love engaging with you because we get people to look at things from different angles, right? Let's think about this together. Wait 16 years. 12 years, 13 years, whatever. What's the sort of secondary school? You say, the creative arts school. Jai school now, now you're training for everything else. No, I call creative arts school. It makes no sense. Put the program in all schools. Get GES to incorporate creative arts subjects into all schools. And to go school, before I school, now be a Western Kubo. And I was guitar, and I was drum, palogo, and abibisa, right? And then if you want to take it as a career, then you polish it at the tertiary level. So that if the government has any money to spend, put it in the tertiary level. That's where people make careers out of that. Until then, no, we don't have many people who can play instruments or money them kwa. Nana, there are some people like also saxophone, or so guitar, or so drum, or so bar, but who say, or another baby or also and I say, Ebia, we see accounting, we say, and or sign what the music we say no. It is all probably to be the music now a career, but or sounds your accountant. But you are forcing somebody at that level into a creative arts school. It makes no sense. Zuba is right. I don't know if building you know. That
is the building as quite as of
Is it true that it was meant for that purpose?
Yeah.
Let's investigate that because Minjindi. When we're going to Minjindi, Akufo-Addo Bank, who was struggling to pull money to do anything at all, found
that
money
building
to
is
do that.
That building is there.
Secondly, I would have heard somebody 2 years soon. So creative arts.
Maybe you didn't hear about it, but it is there. You can Google it right now and make a search on that. It is there.
But I'm saying it makes no sense.
All
if they want to do that, they should finish the building. If Muhammad's government wants to continue that, please, humble advice. Finish that structure, convert it into an ultra-modern audiovisual institute at the tertiary level. So that after everybody has got their basic education, everybody knows how to read and write properly. Everybody knows, say, okay, I have some science background, I have some arts background, I have some accounting background, whatever else, no. Then at that level, if I want to use it as a career, then I go in there. And then at that point, there are enough incentives in there and enough investment to help me develop the career. Again, because any or more creative arts the money now and a school, mind you. Or more muchucha skates in a case or money now school. 40% of them at least will drop the idea of creating skates and go find something else to do. Let's face it, it's an avenue for other people who don't want to be bothered with school. Nothing wrong with that. There are certain people out there to school. The people who are really creative. Okay, so you just a passing through school of performing arts, he could have made it. No, sir. He made it from his own societal wisdom. And that's creative arts. It's creative. It's been in a year, Jane. 100 and something %. But that's me. It's your show, as I keep saying.
Well, I so totally disagree 100%. And my reasons are one. In as much, sir, we need to get people the basics. No problem about that. But having a creative arts school, I don't think it will be mainly dependent on, sir, I was a creative arts in Nkwa. People will be taught how to read and write because, as the president said, we just want to mold the way they put out the content just to meet the global standard. You made mention of Jaco. And to tell you the actual fact of this creative art, we have people that are passing through the secondary level. The general subject, maybe they suffered and now they didn't see anything crucial about the essence of going to the senior high school, but they made it through their own way. And they are stars. But let's put this in context. Say, school boy, maths, science, and but just go there for them to teach you typical music, typical movie industry, and typical literacy.
And necessary at that point is what I'm trying to say.
I'm coming. I'm coming. No problem about that. Said the Awoka say necessary, but I think for standard, any how our education system it is necessary for me from that point.
Because maybe question.
Me too. Yes, me too.
They grew me every year. We tell even School of Performing Arts and even the tertiary level, no. You know how many people pass through there and just divert to go do something else?
Because the system is not working for them.
But that's what I'm saying. That's I'm building a point.
Industry for that. Okay.
I'm building a point though. The point is that if there's an industry that's going to swallow them up, then it makes sense to do that.
So if you have the school, definitely we have an industry to
how many movies do we make? How many cinemas? Listen, start from there. Build a culture of that first. Then maybe that will make sense. Only then will I even consider that remotely. But look at this. Trainee every year, they're training a large chunk of youth who are focused on only creative work. Who are they going to produce for when people don't even go to the cinemas anymore? Ghana doesn't have a cinema culture. Here, you go to the cinema, even here, put in and say Netflix, people put that aside and go to the cinema just for the culture of it. So if you are grooming people for that industry, it makes sense. What industry are you grooming these people for? How much money do we invest? We're releasing Nyom. What is a Shatawale releasing? What is a Stone Boy? Whoever. Can maybe see F word? No, on the F1 into the. Funny say, any of your favorite artists are releasing Nyom. How much money do you think about putting into Nyom that we're releasing as a people? We don't have that culture. And how many millions per? Right? So you are grooming people for what market? When it's also an industry, you really don't need a certificate to function. Who go school, no, obibe mobile phone, no caskets, no private. Like what happened to us who went to School of Performing Arts. Everybody had to branch, go do something else. Because school now call the industry is not there to support you. Small one there, it's a group of people who are controlling that, which can be corrected maybe by setting up the school. But maybe they say, why industry bang? And I will groom me some for you for. You can say you groom me, you can for a Greek school. Yes, a person will produce the anima MED. You can say I'm for medical school. We are grooming doctors for our health and everything. Creative Arts Secondary School, you grooming why more. I'm a Ghana. It's what I'm. And mind you, I'm a creative myself, so don't get me wrong.
No,
Me,
no.
say,
And
I
love how the conversation is going
at that level.
Let me answer that. Can I answer that question?
Of course.
All right, young room. To me, your people are said the Azuba suggested say we should use that for colleges, and we know the colleges that he was talking about, being it the training college or the nursing or whatever. But as it stands now, we have 3 years, 4 years, 5 years nursing students or more years for motifi. First of all, na yes omunko school ni wie no mama ye den pa mo oban no system ben na yes o meye adwuma wo. That is one. We have teachers.
No. Don't compare apples and oranges. Synergy.
I'm coming.
Let's clear that up before you continue.
Yes.
No. Let's get that out of the way.
Let me make my point.
The first place,
Let me make my point.
Okay, but we'll
Let
come
me
back
make my
to that
point.
because you're comparing apples and oranges.
Oh, let me make my point. We said the America said we have people who training college, the nursing and the teacher training or multi-fee. We are hoping share the system will consume them years by years based on appointment. No problem, because our limited infrastructure to accommodate them. No problem. But I am looking at it from this point to say, what can they do on their own to benefit the country at large if the government, and find a juma or the backup preschools, the government, the private schools now until that doesn't take the fact to say you that person becomes useless. No problem. Two, now to these creatives, if you have someone who is a creative arts schooler or when you what the technical know-how, I see that person is at the junior high level or the senior high school level, obetima is something better or profitable for him or herself. Wabra want to also call the tertiary level to waste money. No other better because we know how content creators, this digital media, the new media, is fetching people money right now.
Okay,
so if
I know we have another topic and the time is limited, so let's try to keep it short and concise. But what I'm saying to you is, they will can all well and good, but with the case of the nurses, there's actually a backlog versus we say a opposite, right? Now let me skip to the I will explain. You saying we'll just train these people and leave them out to go fend for themselves. It's not a smart idea.
No. That is not the point I made. I said we train them. We know, sir, a time will come that we will still post them into your training or much of fee. But if I can't be finished, you're training in one day. One man may useless with you, but about compared you for the idea. That is the point I made.
Train the person for you for front prekon. I did not training for BB Abanako Tnefi and San Wakoye Wako. Now, Synergy, they are making until maybe there's a law say on call creative arts school you can't function as a creative. This will make no sense. It's as simple as that. Until there's a law. Anything that say untimin sorry may a doctor. Makotina baby may study right? They are protected. The profession is protected. Untimin could not court and case me a lawyer may become as them. No, it's protected. They are girls, they are all types of. But creative arts, anybody can be a creative. That's where you have to send your mind.
That is where my mind is. But I'm looking at how we can polish them. I'm looking at how we can polish them.
At the tertiary level. At the very least, make it a polytechnic. At the very least, make it a polytechnic.
We know the creative art thing is mainly based on talent, right? A talent base. And that talent base, should we work for that person? It's one for senior high school. Wabra, Obu Okana grade, no crime, you want to mean the tertiary. None of life not end over there. But at the senior high level,
programs in the school. Maybe example. Even Ghana, we used to do it before. Back in the day.
Yes.
They were the pop chain. Be someone with film generations or what's called the pop chain, if they know what the pop chain is. Oko secondary school are those schools in like Accra, Kwabuche, those kind of schools. No more be a friend of pop chain. Pop chain, a school bands. When the pop chain comes, I actually made a movie. My first movie, that was my second movie, was called Pop Chain. you can know VHS. So if I find a VHS, I'll try to convert it to digital and put it on platforms for people to watch. What's called Pop Chain, right? But Pop Chain idea, you know, say schools and obia on a band. Then there's a day they come together and they play as a competition. What I'm saying. So schools had bands. I went to St. Peter's Secondary School. We had a school band. The other time I knew Ejako Nimobanikas, and I mentioned it. Ejako Nimobani, no about bass guitar in the school band. Yeah. Right? Okay. So schools had bands. We had a brass band. And I'm put a trumpet, but Papa no munya or dining hall, I more extra ball of kinky because there's so more energy to blow, Papa. You know, all of that. We had all kinds of traditional groups in schools and all. The government should introduce programs who go school, who share everything that everybody else is studying. And then you are also polishing that aspect, you know. You are learning something. I say in American woman, all the kids are forced into some aspect of because I say elective, right? 1 year choir, I also year band. 1 year band, I also year you can't say the Baako friend is saying ballet. 1 year ballet, I also year. Won't that make sense? But by all means, so by year BB. And to all right. And no cry no you're smarter. Because by the time you become a creative person, you know everything else that everybody else knows. Nobody's going to bully you with any contracts. Because you know what they know too. It may not kind of the same thing, but all I'm saying is the level at which they are proposing to do it is wrong. If you want to do that, maybe step it up. Make it like polytechnic. Into where we high school, say, oh, say me we school, be me to say me polish me creative, na me the launch me career better. My men ko honum. Say your first teacher training no, na enye university. No, we are not teacher training. It wasn't a university. It was at you can say polytechnic level. Yeah, the BB Sadia, I'm all for it. But other than that, Zuba is 100% right. I don't think for a place like Ghana. A good investment for our money, say, first build a secondary school level creative arts institute. I don't think so. Anyhow, another issue. And I say you still want something, you still want to have the last word on this. It's your show. You can always have the last word.
Let me have the last word on that. Please, I think for newsroom, if you people can do a research on Interlochen Arts Academy or Michigan, USA, what they do is they do creative writing, film, and music. When we search about Proello, like the other high schools, they also do the same thing. Or New York City, USA. That is what they do. And the other one that I made mention of, that is National School of the Arts, Johannesburg, South Africa. Yeah. I think, like you said, you have the levels. But to me, I feel the way our education system, we need to be specialized based because our education system is trying to groom people across board. Meanwhile, the interest in anyone. Into parents, a lot of parents are really putting in money, but they are not getting what is expected from the awards. That is how I see it because I'm in the education field. And I know what the point that I want to drive at. In the sense, I could have been a junior high school, a senior high school. Yeah, let me take it from the junior high school. Now, what interest or fashion. But the culture of someone called a senior high schooler, I say, you are not well respected until we are pushing people to go to the senior high school before. So, when Yamanako fashion school. But in other way around, consider someone away interest or fashion school. Now, instead of so Obeko senior high school, no when you train in Canada, never call this fashion school. How would this whole thing benefit that Colano, especially based on the special field out near Remono? That is the reason why outside we have the academy schools a training footballers from the lower age. Through that, they equip you with school, the writing and the reading and the speaking aspect. Into who now and yet the general one in the question, but you become out of an asset from that school, through the field now. Example is Lamine Yamal of Barcelona. That boy is still in junior high school. We have a lot of players they are playing professional football, but they are still at the junior high level because of the anyhow they are being trained on that aspect.
All right, we have 10 more minutes. Yes. Let's use that for the second topic.
Well, let's brush it up fast. Yanko to President Nediana. time is really not on our side. Now you're there as to the 40 million, how this whole thing, said the president is it here. President Elanche, the Black Star experience that was last year, 2025 May. That was that very day, or making reference to Eja Kuonimo. Our year said that person, that man, I was say, yeah, Anna and Sana Waguno. Into the 20 million Ghana cedis now, so or the Romono. Or person or strengthen the Black Star experience now, can't want some say. Or person a year Ghana, the identity. It gives us a rich culture, street carnivals. When it's time for us to have that Black Star experience now, and part of the Sikana was what they made the creatives, a juma or person a be a no. Two, infrastructure and rehabilitation. Okay, want some say the National Theatre. Or who say Sasika wish it would not just be injecting the money in the industry just like that, but to help us with infrastructure. Baby, once we need to rehabilitate them just to meet the standard or just to meet how we perceive that place in ACN. And he said, you bet me a second national theater, Kumase, which is very nice. See, Timinian is the kind of location, ACTN, there are no problem.
Hello?
Radio, culture.
In New now we'll make reference to hello?
Yeah, trust me.
Yeah, network and everything mess me up, no problem. But I'm fan to us. So lastly, the opening statement, or make reference say the new media, how human creativity able to Ghana out there globally, is something that even the traditional media no ain't due to content creators, a juma or more. And it's true because what a content creator can do for the industry, the name a bit fetch for us, it will take us a huge investment for us to do that. A critical example is what Speed came to do in Ghana. This digital media person, a social media person. But let's look at the face of them in Africa. They change a whole view of Africa. Until President intent is pushing that money, into this sector, will help also support the new media, build infrastructure, and also to and to tighten the Black Star experience now of per se. But the last aspect I want us to look at is when the bit eligible to have access to that money, and you will be a keke. And a bit one is that person, you need to be a registered member of the industry. You need to have a production, a media house, a jinaso, so just like that. That is not it. Then again, the Sikana or Moka Huasemano, the first application or Moody can receive nearby this versus Sikan will be in the mid Epuya Day May Epuya Day. That is going to be the first part of the Sikano or more or mobile file the application. No more Sabecano. First 30% will be the pre-production, another 40% will be the middle of a production, and the last 30% will be the post-production aspect. That is how the disbursement will be. So Sikano, you will not get the money based on semi Phillips or semi Coco GB into Dabi, but you need to have a production a year registered under this creative here you need more Ghana before you can get access to the money. Into President 40 2020, that is our conversation is here.
Yen said ya oma penny kind yembra back na yen react quickly
Right.
fancy. Oh, there's something not right with that video. Yeah, error message trying to play. Wait, let me see if I can play it from my end. 1 second.
Radio, culture. Radio, culture. Online.
That video is not playing for some reason. I'm not sure why. But I believe so we can still go in and discuss it. Yen ya in dia oman penny kind or see their And it's in a joke with the calculator that 20 million CDs for Kumawood and all the other woods. Any idea? Respectfully. Meaning some of kinds of Mariatia and now.
Okay, let's move on.
And I can't be ansana.
Oh, there, okay, say we are. Now the latter part of it in the atwato.
Yo, my reaction ye. Ya do man penyase. Penny for Kasabi, that's a beam review. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a beam review. But let's be brutal and very honest and have a very frank discussion. 20 million CDs. It's about $2 million. $2 million. We want an industry in Ghana. We see young training in power school and Fambra industry are $2 million. And I bind this shame, Cinergy. Let's be serious. There's a movie called Avatar, Fire and Ash. Avatar 3.
Yeah.
You know how much money was spent on that movie? Just that one single movie. $400 million. One movie. $400 million. They don't have a high school for creative arts. That's the point I'm making, Cinergy. I bind the $2 million and audition Kumawood and all the other wood. That's the budget for one small movie here. What the $2 million will be some finding movie here? Of course, we are not comparing, it's not the same thing. But what I'm saying, and he say, here is the budget for a low budget movie. Right? $2 million for Kumawood and all the woods. Kumawood is a collection of how many so-called production houses here are working. And I feel all the other woods. And so it was our 2 million kroner. So that's how much value we place on creative arts. And come back and tell me, say we are spending money to build a secondary school for an industry to which we commit $2 million. When would I be channel? Now, it goes and comes back again to Asema de Bia making. That's the same way. They be the bio. By all means, and everybody will see, say Asema na mekani de Biano. You have a school of performing arts. You have a National Film and Television Institute. You have a school of music. You have school of art. All these schools are producing creatives of different, makes. All these schools, they are putting out creatives at that level, right? None of these people are represented in any of these things now, or Masa licenses now work on the Cinergy. Also, before somebody qualifies to benefit from Sadia Weno, share a production house, not Wakako producer production house, not Wakako J Sadia if you wine ho. Right? So we have FIPAG, which is made up of people, most of who have never set foot in any creative school.
And the example he made, FIPAG is one of the
that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. So you have FIPAG telling me that they will not approve me my thing. Why? It's the Debiamekano. The system is not right. Until we set the system right, there's no need to build any school of that sort. Set the system right first. Everything else will fall in place. Because I'm a school, I'm a core school of performing arts. I'm a career in the creative arts industry. I'm head of BB, whatever. Then we're talking. Now, I'm a school of performing arts. Not Jackson Bentum, any Omo candidate in Chawakoko for me 5-pack. Ever be determined when I should release my movie. What nonsense is that? Errant nonsense. Creative art, tourism, with all due respect to my big sister. And I have so much love and respect for her that I don't want to be seen, me kana sem kra me din. But let's face it, that place no, it's a landmine no. One shot 2 million cedis, 20 million cedis we no. Ebeba be albatross around the neck of the government. Mark it somewhere. You know why? Because and people will feel entitled to say they should have got some. So Abano needs urgent action in the tourism and arts and creative sector. Seriously. Seriously. That's my take, Cinergy.
All right. I think, yeah, I only delivered based on the point the president in the editor had wanted to voice the pain out of shed their issues in the city, but thankfully, you've dealt with it nicely, and that is what, as a nation, I will see you pay attention to. We are joking with certain things. It doesn't give us a brighter future. Our industry are a grooming people are omunko school with no certificate, but they are able to make a living for themselves. People are omutimi putting a nation on the map. Wabra government and pay a man a penny. Nasa that industry no. Yes, he provided support to the amount more. We make it look as if we have to do some. Two is what system is regulating the creative art industry, and do that those people know me ahead of that creative art industry, a dear responsibility no at the end of every year, you be delivered to the people in that creative. As you said, the registration, must the be or not qualify for such must be a registered member of a recognized guild that is either Fire Park or that GAG for actors,
But that
And
guilt
two,
thing is whimsical. Cinergy, someone may person me channel no. Because Obenya Bibi Sanwa, they should have representation from these training institutions. Otherwise, then you are saying the training institutions are bogus.
and that is what I'm coming from. Sani Pakwana Obubo Omutin said they are forming the Fire Park, woman enco vet will be works. How credible are they to vet the work and see to it as any Pakrono Krano, Sikano? And secondly, they made mention of local content quota, meaning 60% of the work that you do, cast and crew should be Ghanaians. They should be Ghanaian citizens and some will qualify. Thirdly, distribution plan. You must also provide a proof of path to market. Say, moving a mutual, a humana may, may the quack a station be to say either Aquaba Magic or Netflix. Sanima Winina should be a nearma ever qualified to have access to this kind of money. Never be Simon who say, how is this thing realistic to regulate the economy research na Mahama, John Dramani Mahama, the president, Ekan 17? We will end up, and this money will end up in people's coffers. Last year, not even last year, last administration, we heard say certain amounts they push into this same industry. We did an editorial on this same story over here. People are mobile back say that money Ebino so back about the car say a week and they up in the pocket of party boys. Is that not the same thing I babayana? Into the amount is one, it has nothing to write home about. Two, what regulation are we putting on this creative industry need to see to it say Nipano Muwomono, the people now are more and mind you, clothing is part of this creative art. By young shed recently, a Zambia through just Fugu. A president represents us with a cloth, fugu keke. Look at the identity that he gave us. And you think that this industry, you better play it just like that, Anna. No. Content creators, Maka, I should speed in one sama. But let me reference this with Maya. Look at how Maya is representing Africa worldwide. Now, all my Africa identity through this digital media, the new media, these are the things that we have to look at. Giving people the credible hands to push themselves into this creative, maybe we ever benefited the country at large. And yes, one will come, one will go with different policies and different mindsets, the way they see it. But at large, the respect will still not be there for creatives. That is how I can put it on this aspect for now.
Thank you very much for that, yes, today has been very you're kind of saying it's been insightful, is the word I'm looking for. I hope so maybe we can pick this discussion up again with some people in the industry. No, I don't know if you can make that your project for next week, right? Let's revisit this subject with some people in the industry who matter. I'll see if I can get some people from the School of Performing Arts to make a representation. And then you try and get some of the Kumawood guys, and if possible, try see if you can get a 5-part person on here. Because 5-part is an organization I'm always lambasting them. I've never heard from them. I would love to hear from them. Because if you are not seminar making it, na omo anu ye bi wo ma mimi nya hu ye, right? Otherwise, the meme pacha ni say ebeba ni sen and ye oman a ye tete creatives. Na ya SETI school amomo Kwame Nkrumah Bresoton know who the importance of that into no SETI schools for all these aspects, no, right? Na fe ye beba be do baby a ye war industry no sebi in previous na me case omonko School of Performing Arts na me case omonko school e bia wako medical school crap minim, but we be fi honom no about be head an institution that determines how men na my course school for that, how my career should go. It makes no sense. It makes no sense at all. Until the minister and everybody else involved, all the board chairs and all that in that area. Mati said the Gideon Aikwe call. Gideon Aikwe, make this your project. Reset that thing. If you reset that, it will be a natural reset. Everything else will fall in place. Everything else will fall in place. Royalties and all these things, because your problem, Keseba no royalties. The reason why the creative industry and you're big in Ghana, no. No royalties na why? Because say royalties year and I mean say menu ma boy me royalties beba. I'm comfortable taking that up as a career. So catch me person me born na ye machine. Because they don't know, say that's an area that you can go into and sustain a livelihood. So let's have an open and frank discussion. And whoever is unhappy about the discussion, too bad, but we need to have the discussion. We need to have that discussion. I'm tired, I'm hungry, I'm out. My name is Kwesi E. Baako. Thank you for joining this week's edition of Cinergy. I still see in the green. What? I think it's something to wrap up with. And again, I want you to have the last word because it's your segment. So please, just that what you said, I just wanted, it's something that, so one notice here, I'm always on this topic. It's not the first, it's not the second, it's not the third. I don't know how many times I've mentioned this thing here. But with my dear Bakuswa Hammer Dream Power, we have a platform, School of Performing Arts. When you raise the topic, the interest in that, it's very low. You know why? Because a lot of us have gone through that and passed on to go be something else. My friend Lester, who was the dwarf in my play at School of Performing Arts, he's now a flourishing lawyer. What I say? To be or no making a living from law. What is the chance creative arts accepted? That's so funny. Jamaicans, a lot of us go there and we branch into other areas. I went to School of Performing Arts. I branched to go do journalism for my master's. Because now I'm seeing myself more as a journalist. Lester is seeing himself more as a lawyer. So who's going to fight for the creatives?
That is it.
Last word is yours, Cinergy, please.
All right. Yeah, now for the creatives, pain, said the the respect we give to that industry, Like I said, for more School of Performing Arts, you know the value, what it takes for someone to be called a creative. But as to how this will become a national discourse, many puppetry as you say, it is not a mere sector. What see a picture need to be and conform a couple of one more as a life, or mind to me pushy hard than a cost sector. Name a due respect to the mass sector. That is when all this conversation I would say bar interest new alone a bit mass sorry because on the national scale we are not seeing it that way. Well, young Frenchie, Naminka and Pancho say the president can say the Accra International Conference Center. No, you see, it is not in international conference center again because it is not sufficient on the scale. A team put Ghana on the map now attract you anymore. Me intention is say you bet me a new world class convention center. Ebi nso no rehabilitation of the National Theatre and the Makan Wasem was say the banquet hall you're closing it for years no you bet me are rehabilitating no then so I hear my interest is if it's about politics, if it's about Yanka, if it's about let's put the funds a problem you but the realistic reality to how in some na can ever manifest is our problem. Last year, May 2025, Black Star Experience on one a launching year, we saw nothing about this whole thing, but money was pumped into that. This year, 40 million, automatically equivalent to 4 million US dollars. Send us a kind of is it coming to become say Bekasasa or news in him? For Sobia Mana. Let's end it over here. Ras. Until that, Cinergy is the name Arts and Culture.
Arts and Culture with Cinergy. We'll see you next week. Thank you, Cinergy.
Welcome.
I go. Wait. Amen. I go. Wait. Amen. I saw you walk when come. Come.